to remove the chala wood so that they can't come up here. And also clean the coconut because they poop in here like. There will be a cure for COVID before this construction ends. Good hello and welcome to Fins and Whiskers. If you're new here, make sure you boop that subscribe button in the snoot and we'll get on to the video. Okay, so I asked you guys on the YouTube bulletin what kind of video you would like to see, and a few of you guys have said that you wanted to see a cage cleaning, and this actually works out perfectly for me because I need to do a cage cleaning. It's about that time, so we are going to do that. Now the way I do this is about once a month or 2 months, but at most 2 months. I clean out half of the bedding. Now of course you want to spot clean weekly, and this is just taking out little parts of the bottom where they're most likely to pee, and also the area of their sand if they pee there. But for a monthly cleaning or every 2 months, I take out half of the bedding and throw the bottom half out, and the top half I keep and I put that in a separate garbage bag, so we put that back in later. So that's what we're gonna do. Now because I have a divider, I usually pick one side to clean first, and the other side I would do after or a different day, just so they're not too anxious. So I keep them on one side, and since I'm going to be cleaning the side of the bedding, we're going of course they love to be up here all the time, so they will take every chance. No, you can't go up here. But since we're cleaning the paper bedding, it's hard to talk when there's something so cute in your hand. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to put you down. Many of you guys have asked about the lid, so I do want to explain a little about that. I use egg crate for the lid, and I got it from Home Depot. And because the bedding is so high, usually they can go up and bite it. So to prevent that, I use pieces of cardboard, and I also use glass. Now this is a big piece, but it's to cover most of the, so that they are able to have the so that they can still maintain a good height of bedding. I do use a larger piece on the side of the bedding. However, there is still space for air to circulate in the middle area, as well as the area with the wheel and their sand and their water, so it's still pretty well circulated, so there's nothing to worry about there. But that's basically what I use to cover the enclosure, because as you know, gerbils are jumpers, as you can see here, and they will escape. So that's just what I use. And come here. And the other thing I like about using egg crate is that they usually come in large pieces, so you can cut them to size of the enclosure, and it makes a perfect fit. So you can't escape. Come on now, guys. Okay, so now the gerbils are getting a little bit impatient because they have tasted freedom, so we are going to put them on the other side so we can take out the bedding comfortably, and so they are not mad at me, at least physically mad. So we are going to put them on the other side. Really fast, because they are going to put them back. Come on, please. Come on. To remove the chala wood so that they can't come up here. And also clean the coconut because they poop in here like crazy. So we're going to use the toilet paper tube to cover it so they can't come back up here. So what I'm just going to do is take the top half of bedding and put it in this so that we can put it back later. So just so you guys get a better angle of this, I moved the camera down, and we're just going to quickly remove the top half. bedding can also be surprising because you forget what kind of toys they had down here. This wheelbarrow, for example, it's lost one of its wheels. But don't worry, it's made of wood. We're just gonna put that aside for now until we can put back their things. And I try to replicate their burrows a little because I feel so bad destroying it. And so the material that they used to use as holding their burrows, I just put them back in the same place. Now, over time, since I do try to spot clean weekly, this is a little bit less than half. So we are just going to measure with what we've got. How did you get here? So now that we've removed a little bit more than half, I would say, but it's fine. And now we are going to take the bottom bedding and be throwing away this one. So my gerbils apparently have become stronger jumpers. If you have like a small traveler's cage that you can use to keep them from being in your way, I strongly recommend it. While also being careful not to throw away their chew toys and hideys. And if you haven't seen my boredom breaker video, I really recommend checking it out because I do show some materials that are great to use so that they can hold their burrows better. And I will link that up in the right hand corner. Also being careful as to not take out any rocks that I have in here as well. And I do keep a couple of rocks on the bottom just so that they have material to walk over that will kind of file down their nails. So getting down towards the bottom, you'll see that I have this glass panel. And I use this glass panel just because I do use coroplast as their divider. They should not chew this, so I put in the corners stuff that they can't get to so that they try to chew their way to the other side. So the glass panel just is so that they cannot touch these sides, which is where they can chew the coroplast. We definitely don't want that. Now I did use tape for this purpose. Of course they can't get to it, but when I am doing a cage cleaning, I do like to replace it just so it's nice and fresh and the bedding doesn't take it apart and they can get to the tape and the other side, which is all in all bad. So I'm just going to put the tape back. So I've already gone ahead and taped the glass back in place, and I've made sure to make the tape as flat as possible so that they cannot go through it and get to the tape or the coroplast. Now for the other side, I do block it off with these very heavy rocks and they cannot lift or move these. And I put one on the edge of the glass so that they also can't move the glass in any way. I'm just going to take out the bedding from here. If there's a will, there's always a way. And especially with gerbils, they will find a way to do what they want. So you have to learn to work around that. You also want to take notice of where they are soiling the bedding the most. And you can usually do this by waiting like a week or so and feeling the bottom, and there will be a spot where they urinate more. Now, of course, they can always change where they urinate the most, especially when you're doing a cleaning, so it's just a good way to see where they like to. So you know where to spot clean. And of course, everyone has their own way of cleaning. As long as you get the job done, it really doesn't matter how you do it. So this is just the way I do it. It's really nothing special. You might be watching and think, oh my god, I could do that so much faster. And honestly, you probably could, but this is just the way that I do it, and that's okay. Okay, so we've removed all of the bedding, and now what we are going to do is, as you can see, there's a bit of dust and sand that they've moved over from the other side here. So what I like to do is take my spray bottle of vinegar and water and a little bit of soap, and I like to just spray the bottom so that we can pick up that bit of sand that's on the floor. And I'm going to avoid the rocks that I have on the side here that blocks that in so I can't chew the coral glass. And I'm also going to clean the sides of the glass. And I'm doing this because as we've moved the bedding out, it has gone all over the sides, and so to make sure it's not that dusty, just to remove the dust, we're going to clean the sides as well. We're going to start with the sides. It makes a funny noise. Once you do a good job the first time, it will last you a long time. And lastly, I'm going to clean out the bottom, and I'm going to really work on getting all the dust and sand off so that they don't have such a dusty enclosure. No matter what type of bedding you use, it's going to get dusty. Paper is very dusty no matter what you do to it. It can be less dusty depending on how a company fixes it, but just don't be too discouraged if you see dust in your enclosure. It's totally normal. So now we can start putting some of the decorations that they had back in there. Also, to hold the other side of the glass, I put the terracotta pot there so that it cannot be moved whatsoever. Now this used to work really well to hold their tunnels, but it's basically nothing now. I don't know how to work with that, but they'll find a way. They always do. But this is basically how they've had everything. So for the bottom half, we are going to put back the bedding that we kept and put it back. Now this is to make the next cleaning easier. Of course, this bedding will be much older than the top half. So now we're going to add in the new bedding. I might not add all of the weight, we'll see, but it is looking pretty high right now. I also don't want it to be too high because the part where I leave the egg crate visible so that it's ventilated, I don't want them to reach that and bite the egg crate because it will be very bad for you guys. So, but of course this is also going to impact downward. So it looks like it's going to be really tall right now, but it'll eventually sink down. So here is the finished result, and I'm sorry for the glare. It's kind of during day and it's showing everything that's reflected in my room. But this is the final result. I didn't change much except for the fact that there's more brown paper than there used to be. But I'm really liking it, and I love the color scheme a lot. I usually go for mostly white bedding, but I'm enjoying the mostly brown this time. And I also gave them food so they were more calm. They have. So they're chowing down on food right now, and I also put in a bit of flowers. But this is the result. You can see the depth of bedding here. They have the challah wood to get to the other side. And just a closer look at the bottom. Here is where they usually keep their tunnels. Again, I've blocked off the chloroplast with rocks and heavy ones so that they could not get to it at all. They also have these wooden log stairs, a hide, and they love this wall of carton, so I kept it there. And this hide, which I found on Amazon and I thought it was really cute. So there's that, and their wooden wheel. Now, I know a lot of people think that wooden wheels are not worth it for gerbils because they might chew it or they will pee on it. Well, my solution to that, well, gerbils usually chew with a purpose. As you can see here on their wall, they have not chewed the entire thing. They've just chewed the bottom half, a little bit in the middle, and that's just for them to go to the other side and up. So it just shows that sometimes they chew with a purpose, and so I really recommend, if you want to use a wooden wheel, keeping it in a place where they don't want to chew it to make a tunnel or for it to serve any other purpose than running. So as you can see, they chewed it a little bit when they first got it as it was new, but after that they stopped chewing it and now they just use it for running. Now, of course, I do have the problem of them peeing on it, so what I've done is I just put chloroplast underneath in a circular, in the whole circle, and then I've also just gone ahead and put carton and paper over it. They can still run on it, and I just need to replace the paper, which makes it so much easier to keep for a long time. You just need to replace the paper, which is not something hard to get. So that's a solution I came up with for the wooden wheel if you have peers like I do. Then over here I just have their apple dish that I use for their salads only, as I do sprinkle their food mix in the bedding so that they have to forage for it. Then they have their cactus dish for water, and that's about it. There's a more hardwood around here and terracotta strips that are just kind of making a platform, and a coconut hut that I am using as like a bridge and also to hold up the wheel. They also have a coconut hut attached to the trellis wood that they use to get to the sides with sisal twine, and yes, they will chew this probably, and I will have to keep putting it back up, but it's a safer option, so that's what we're working with right now. You can also use metal chains, I just don't have access to them right now. So because the divider is made of chloroplast, I have used clay, terracotta clay, to cover the sides where they can go to the other side as well. And they actually don't care to bite this, which is good for me. But if they did, obviously I would put more, and probably carton as well. But that works for now. So now I'm just showing a montage of the gerbils exploring the enclosure, but I also want to use this time to talk about the importance of a divider or a cage topper. Now, if your tank is really large, like an IKEA D12, maybe they might not throw bedding on everything, in even platforms. However, even in a 63-gallon like they're in, I need to have a divider because they will throw bedding all over their sand, water, and wheel. So it's very important that you view this as a requirement for any gerbil enclosure, and especially smaller ones. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys learned something. Let me know what was your favorite part of the enclosure, and I'll see you guys next time.